All right, ladies and gentlemen, Pushing Boundaries Recovery Mode podcast. It is Friday the 26th, one more week until July, even though July 4th, I don't know what fireworks is going on. Everything's pretty much canceled. But so I'm Robert Knowles, Recovery Mode podcast host, connoisseur. I'm here this week with Chapter 7 contributor Isaiah Sterling. Mr. Sterling, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Very good, very good. So we're here to discuss what we all talk about, and this is the thing that every educator wants to talk about for the fall's recovery mode. 16 chapter, 158 page ebook that can be downloaded on pushboundconsulting.com for free. This is the conversation all teachers want to talk about, and administrators want to talk about, is how are we recovering post-COVID? How are we going back to school and what that's going to look like? And this week we have our master of student voice, Isaiah Sterling. So Isaiah, just real quick, right off the top, hi, how is Missouri?
Missouri is good. Our stay-at-home order's been lifted, so we're trying to get out, but we also want to be safe while we're out too. So it's a challenge sometimes.
We were discussing, we both have the same similar situation of the glasses and the fogginess. So if anyone's watching, want to comment on their trick to combat the fogginess, because all glasses people, Mr. Sterling has already done it. I'm on the way to do it soon. I got to get contacts. I just can't. You have to. You can't talk with the fogginess and be like, all right, let's talk about it. I can't see anything. Jeez, it works. So, all right. So let's start off with the normal thing. Who are you, sir? Let's introduce you to everybody. Who is Isaiah Sterling? What is it that you do?
Thank you. I'm from Southeast Missouri. I'm a small town, I guess. It's about 30,000, maybe not small, medium-sized town. I'm from Cape Girardeau. And, in education, what I do is I make sure that students have a voice. A lot of the times we see that educators and admins make decisions for students, but I really try to challenge those that I come in contact with who work in education and say, if students are the heart of education, why aren't we asking them questions? So that's my number one goal. And I've had the honor to do that here in Cape and also with other districts online as well. So it's been a very humbling and great experience.
Excellent. So so for the people who education, some people don't even know, what is student voice? If you were to give a definition for everyone to know, what is student voice?
Student voice to me, something that I would say right off the bat is the essential data. A lot of times we look at numbers, we look at test scores. Okay, that's important, but we need to look at the essential data. But within that, I think that it's either comments, questions, concerns, and even just narratives from students, whether that be vocal narratives or written narratives from students about how they think education should work or how they think their classroom should run. Really, student voice to me is how can we make a place by kids for kids?
Excellent. Now I'm gonna be the advocate for the other side. So I'll be the 30 plus teacher, 30 year in teacher. Well, it's my class. Why should I listen to what they have to say? I mean, how would you combat against that kind of rhetoric? People are going to be like, it's my class. Why should I listen to them? So how would you combat that?
I would definitely say, without students, educators wouldn't have a job. That's one of the number one things that I would say. And I'd also say, why not? If you truly are here to prepare kids for the future, we need to make sure that they're speaking out. We need to make sure that they are allowed to be vocal and voice their concerns, because if they're not in the future, if they didn't develop that soft skill, how are they going to end up? So that's something that I always like to mention.
So we have a comment from Mr. Dennis Griffith Jr. He wants to say hey to both of us. So
hey Dennis.
Hey man, you got to talk. Hey Dennis, you never call anymore, brother. You need to write, call some more, whatever. And Dennis, if you're watching right now, listening, you're next. I'm getting you after this book is done. You're going to be a guest on this show. So if I have to come up to Milwaukee to come get you, I will.
Yeah, welcome too.
Yeah, definitely. So, so when we talk about your book, or your contribution to recovery mode, how do you propose student voice when it comes to post-COVID, like how will we, because number one, we're probably going to be met with absenteeism.
Right.
We're going to be met with absenteeism from people who are not going to, want to come back. But how do you propose student voice being used for us coming back?
I think that it's going to be important for not only leaders in education, but educators especially, to say, you know what, although we had to switch to virtual learning, we know what worked and what didn't work. It's going to be important to listen to all parties involved, all voices, even the educator voice, and, come together and say, okay, well, this worked with virtual learning and this didn't. Even though we're face to face, how can I take what didn't work and make sure it works in my classroom?
Excellent. Now, you talk about also when we go into your chapter, what is the trench? What is the trench that you refer to?
Sure. I'd love to say that I'm always in the trenches of education. And when I say that, yeah. And when I say that, that means that I am underground. A lot of times in education, above ground, we only see the A+, we see the 100, we see the good standardized test scores. But underground, within the trench, we see that students aren't happy. We see that teachers aren't happy. We see that morale is down, and we see that attendance is down. So when I say I'm in the trenches, that means that I am underground, getting and gathering these perspectives and lifting them up to show others that not only can we do the A+ stuff, but we also have stuff that we need to work on. I think that's important to have a well-balanced system.
Definitely. I think doing a book like this is definitely coming from the underground, bringing that knowledge up front. So now the big question is, and this is something I've been planning, is that when we get back to school, we're going to have a lot of discussion on student voice and what's going on politically in the world right now and what's going on with the protests and stuff. How would you implement student voice when it comes to things like the George Floyd situation?
Yeah. I think that the time to listen is now and the time for violence is never. That's how I focus, and that's how I practice student voice. I'm always looking to gather essential perspectives and make sure that even the students that I'm over or the students that I work with know, you have a safe place to speak out, but we will never get violent because it's time to listen. It's not time to get violent. So I make sure that they know that.
Do you think, we've been doing are you familiar with the book White Fragility?
I am not.
Okay, yeah, we're doing a book study in a Facebook group that I belong to, and it talks about a white person's perspective in our society and stuff. And one question that was brought up: do you think racism is a choice? Like, do you think racism is a choice by people that you choose? It's not like conditioning, because we talk about people having those parents and those grandparents that kind of condition you to do it.
Yeah.
Is that, or do you think it's a choice of doing it, like of thinking of that way? What do you think?
Personally, I think that the way the country was founded, I think that the specific values and the certain public figures that founded the country, if you will, had mostly a conservative ideology. But with racism, we just have to look at the history of slavery in the country. And we have to realize that even though we came from that, we have an opportunity to do something different now. And I think a lot of people, it's a sensitive topic in education. And I think that it's just essential that we listen to all perspectives, not just the white perspective, not just the Black perspective. We have to come together, because if we don't come together, we can't go anywhere.
But do you think, is it choice or conditioning? What do you think? That was the essential overlay. Is it a choice? Is it a choice?
I think it's a choice. I think as a person, as an individual, you decide if you want to dislike someone based on the color of their skin. I think that you can have certain influences in your life, like, oh, well, Mama was like this, Papa was like that, so I'm going to be like that. So I think it's a choice. If you want to be like that, that's your decision as an adult, as a person,
Yeah, definitely. And then that's with student voice. The one thing going back, my school is 40-40-20, which is 40% Hispanic, maybe 35% African-American, and 20% is the very low minority. And the one thing that I've been approached with by my students is that would it be any different? And this is where I think your chapter comes in really heavily. Would it be any different if George Floyd was Jorge Martinez? What if he was a brown guy?
Yeah.
Would we be going through what we're going through right now if he was brown? Not saying taking away anything from the African American, but looking at, Black Lives Matter. Obviously, we believe, everyone believes that when we talk on here, and, we embody that every day. But, brown lives matter too. And if that was the case, do you think it would have jumped off as hot as it did?
I don't think so. I think that not only if he was a lighter skin tone, I think that it would have been perceived differently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that stuff doesn't happen to lighter people, because it does. It's just the reality of America. But I definitely don't think that it would have gotten the traction that it did if he was a lighter color. Most definitely.
Definitely. And then going forward. Now, did I see this correctly in doing my homework for today? Podcaster, author, blogger. Do I dare say, did I read it right? Singer?
I do. I sing a little. just a little bit.
I happened to catch something, so I thought I mentioned that today. I'm like, singer? So
yeah, I guess so. You could put that in there. An actor as well. We can't forget
an actor. Ooh.
An actor. Yeah. Well, we tried, but
anything that I would have seen or anything that I would have heard, or just random one-off.
Honestly, all of it's been random. I sing at a lot of churches. I've been in a couple musicals, but they were back in junior high. But, I still consider myself an actor. I can return to the stage at any point,
Well, aren't the best teachers the best actors and performers, really? I mean, come on. We got. Now, here's the thing. Being an advocate, and this is another question I want to ask, being an advocate of Student Voice and being part of our team and being such a crucial role in being a part of our team, when are you going to become a teacher?
Oh, goodness. I love so much. And my major is actually multimedia journalism.
Okay.
With a minor in social work. So, I'm in communications. But as of now, not saying that this won't change, I don't believe that the classroom is for me. Before you go crazy, I just, as of now, I just can't imagine myself doing that. I don't know whether it's from past experiences facing adversity or what it is, but I just feel like I'm called more to the communication aspect of it.
Understood. Yeah. I mean, because I've been in the room covering stuff that you presented, and you're an awesome presenter, but I'm thinking, you're part of an educational firm.
Right.
Shouldn't we get you in the classroom? I think that would be your best suited weapon. But I mean, communications, that, I could see where that can go too. And, you have that right direction with that. Tell me about the ground level image.
As leaders, when we are looking at the ground, that's, again, we see the A+. We see the 100%. We see that students did great on the MAP test. We see that they did awesome on all of our standardized tests. They're communicating with their peers. They're communicating with educators. That's what we see just on the ground. Mm-hmm. Everything up there is just fantastic. Rainbows, unicorns, everything's fantastic. But until we go down, underground into the trench, that's when things start to change.
Definitely, it's getting that other level of that kid and making sure they can be helped, because I think people see educators or anything in the education system as just one dimensional, and they don't understand it's not even multi-dimensional. It's like triple, quadruple, whatever the heck you can call dimensional, because there's so many things on our plate that I don't think people get. It's just like, well, why is Knowles going crazy? Well, we have 5 million things going on at one time. So excellent. So, Mr. Sterling, is there anything that you want to social media wise plug? Twitter, Facebook, Insta, anything you're working on?
Yeah, I will. Everybody can find me with the handle iSterlingN, as in Nancy, or my middle name, Nathaniel, if you will. You can find me there. You can stay in touch with me. I do some blogging. I am in the process of starting that back up, getting more in the habit of writing, especially about now that I'm at the university level, writing about what student voice looks like there. So I do that at thestudentlook.wordpress.com. You can check that out. Of course, that's definitely free, and you can contact me at any time. I'm always looking to gain perspectives and grow my professional learning network. So
definitely. Now, is student voice the solution to education?
I don't think so in every aspect. Okay. I don't think that our student's perspective can solve all of our issues within education, because we have budgeting issues. We have, some of that stuff that students almost legally can't hear about, if you know what I mean.
Right.
We still have those issues. And, I think that it really takes a partnership. I think a student and educator voice together can be the solution, but just a student or just a teacher, that's not going to balance the scale. We'll still be off at some point.
Well put. I think, that tag team, because everyone thinks it's just on us, and it's a combination effort between us and the student to actually make it to the finish line and get to where they need to be successful. So, Mr. Sterling, I do appreciate your time, brother. Definitely, we'll talk soon. Everyone here at Pushing Boundaries in Recovery Mode, this is the Recovery Mode podcast. Next week, we talk about Chapter 8. But signing off with Mr. Sterling today, with everyone listening all over, please like, share. If you know an educator that might, benefit from listening to videos like this with our contributors, please share it out. We have a YouTube channel. We have our Facebook Live promotion as well. And you know what? What are you doing to push boundaries in your classroom, either in school or at home? And it all matters about our students. So, Mr. Sterling, Isaiah, good talking to you as always, sir. We'll see you soon.
You as well. Thank you.
Thank you.